Marvel and Disney just dropped the final trailer for their popular What If series, and we've got a lot to talk about. The trailer featured scenes from all 9 of the upcoming episodes, and they were filled with a ton of Easter eggs. So make sure you stick around until the end of the video because you never know what you might have missed. As of right now, all of the episodes for this season have been given names, and the order they're going to be released in has also been leaked. At least that's what a lot of fans believe. If those leaks are accurate though, we'll be getting some great episodes like What If Happy Hogan Saved Christmas or What If the Avengers Assembled in 1602. And if you've seen the trailer for season 2, those titles line up with a lot of the clips. And I personally could not be more hyped about it. The trailer was named Holiday Wordplay, so it's not surprising that it would open up with a festive theme. The trailer opened up with a panning shot of the Watcher standing beside Peggy on the Gothic Bridge in Central Park, also known as Bridge 28. The Watcher says something along the lines of, "Let me tell you one of my favorite stories," before revealing the world tree, Yggdrasil. And let me be the first to say, that's a badass Christmas tree. The trailer continues by quickly cutting between some popular faces, none of which looked happy to be there. First, we get a close-up of Hela's angry face walking through the rain. This is likely from the episode that's going to be called What If Hela Found the 10 Rings. Then we quickly get a look at Nebula, who seems just as ticked off as Hela as she also stands in the rain. This might be a look at what's expected to be the first episode of the new season, titled What If Nebula Joined the Nova Corps. This actually looks like a quicker version of another shot that was in the first trailer where they showed Nebula standing over Yondu's dead body. Next up, the trailer gives us a quick look at Gamora, and yep, you guessed it, she's pissed. It's unclear exactly what situation she's supposed to be in, but based on the single beam of light shining over her eyes, I'd say she's gonna be imprisoned. Then we get a look at Thor as he seems to be holding up the Chitauri scepter that Loki used in the first Avengers movie. And finally, the trailer cuts to a look at Tony Stark, who is clearly wearing a Santa costume, but much like everyone else in the trailer, he's super pissed for some reason. It's a very angsty trailer, which definitely sets a serious tone for the season. Also, Santa, if you're listening, I want the Avengers Tower snow globe that they showed next. It looks like it's a Christmas tree ornament, and I'm gonna guess Disney's probably gonna make those. That's a lot to take in from just the first 10 seconds of the trailer, but after that brief opening, it really got good. You can see Scott Lang and Thor in what I assume is 1602, as Scott yells, "Ales all around, chin chin." Looking at the background, it seems like Scott and Thor were supposed to be in an old tavern. But what's even more interesting is the two people sitting behind Thor and Ant-Man. Even though it's blurry, if you look closely, you can see that it's a man and a woman drinking together, and both of them seem like they have shields on their backs. Could that be an old-timey Captain America and Peggy sitting together sharing an ale? The trailer continues by giving us the 12 Days of Christmas in Marvel style, starting with 12 Hulks of smashing, which came with a scene of the Hulk smashing his fists together and revealing a very Thor-like beard. This could be a hint that we'll be seeing 12 different Hulks throughout this season. From She-Hulk to Scar, anything could happen. But what's really cool about the scene where they show Hulk is it looks like he's smashing through enemies in some sort of cathedral, and his typical purple shorts have been traded for pantaloons. This tells me that they're still showing clips from the 1602 episode of the season. And if it's anything like the 1602 comics that it might be based on, that makes sense because they spent a lot of time in the Inquisition Towers. This scene was followed by 11 Howards quacking and gave us a look at what it would be like if Howard the Duck became Rambo. 10 rings a-glowing is clearly a nod to Shang-Chi and the 10 rings, although soon they might be Hela's. The trailer then shows Wen-Wu punching Odin right in the jaw with the force of the 10 rings on his arm. Then, of course, on the 9th day of Christmas, we get 9 new episodes. During this shot, the trailer shows Rocket jumping onto the back of a dark elf, and he's wearing some sort of new cybernetic armor. They followed this up with a shot of Cohorty landing on a ship and clearly getting ready to stir up some trouble for whoever's on board. This isn't the only time we see her in the trailer though. Later in the trailer, it looks like she takes the fight to solid ground, where she's just wiping out the enemy left and right. We also get to see Cohorty doing some Avatar The Last Airbender looking training as she flips a massive rhino, bison, dinosaur hybrid thing. If I had to guess, that scene is going to be a training sequence where she's preparing to take on the ships and enemies that we saw before. This scene is followed by a shot of Ant-Man flying through the sky with his army of ants. Only this time, I don't think it's supposed to be Scott Lang. In an earlier trailer for What If Season 2, they showed a younger version of Hank Pym's Ant-Man from the 80s. I think he's the one we see riding on the ant in the trailer. It seems like this scene is going to be from an episode titled What If Peter Quill Attacked Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Next in the trailer, we get a glimpse of Red Skull looking like a true barbarian as he fights Bucky with not one, but 2 massive axes. Based on the cathedral backdrop behind them, I'd say that this fight is likely taking place at the same time as that scene with the bearded Hulk. Honestly, if this is the 1602 episode and it does roughly follow the 1602 comics, this could be a big ending fight. Without spoiling much, throughout the 1602 comics, there were a lot of heroes and villains that all had different goals, but in the end, they all converged into one massive battle. And that could be what Marvel is giving us a brief look at in the trailer. The final trailer continues by showing Darcy, who name drops the trailer using the line, "Gotta admit, that's some solid holiday wordplay." And if Tony Stark wearing a Santa hat at the beginning of the trailer wasn't festive enough, the trailer also gives us a winking Santa Thor before cutting to another shot of Nebula. Nebula can be seen in her Nova Corps uniform as she places Yandu's mohawk, which means fans will get to see her dominating people with that arrow. I can just picture it, Nebula happily whistling along as her new weapon goes on a killing spree. The trailer also shows Surtur wielding a large flaming blade, implying that Ragnarok must have happened in this particular what-if universe. This is followed by a shot of Bucky, which is really interesting considering in season 2, he's going to be part of the 80s Avengers. This means he will be fighting alongside Hank Pym as Ant-Man, King T'Chaka as Black Panther, and more. As of right now, it's believed that their appearance is going to be during the episode What If Peter Quill Attacked Earth's Mightiest Heroes, which is when the 80s Avengers will be facing off against a young Peter Quill, who was still on Earth rather than being kidnapped by Yandu and his crew. Marvel continued the trailer by showing the Watcher shuffling around the crystals of the universe, followed by the original rock, paper, and scissors. This is really funny because clearly Groot, Korg, and Meek are all playing a game of rock, paper, scissors. But when you think about the fact that Groot is a tree, the sources of paper, Korg is made of rocks, and Meek has a thing for cleavers, it's like a real life rock, paper, and scissors playing a game of rock, paper, scissors. It's basically a meta pun that works on so many levels. Now the trailer continues by showing Justin Hammer from Iron Man 2 appearing, and it seems like he might be playing the Grinch this year. Hammer is likely going to try and steal Christmas, and it will be up to Happy to save it. Next, we see a super smooth transition using Mjolnir as Thor throws it across scenes. It's caught by an Asgardian who is most likely Odin based on the bands on his handed armor. They then cut to a shot of Happy, who is walking with a group of Iron Legion suits behind him. Based on the glimpse of Christmas lights in the background, this is also going to be during the episode where he saves Christmas. They follow this with another shot of Odin pointing his sword into the sky and shooting a beam that reminds me of when he cast Thor out of Asgard in the first movie. Maybe he's blaming this blast up at Surtur during What If's version of Ragnarok. The trailer goes on with another speed round of faces and actions as the words "for 9 days straight" flash across the screen. We see a ton of action over the next few seconds, starting with Doctor Strange appearing and using his magic. We then see a version of Captain America followed by a glimpse of Tony in his Hulk Buster armor. Some more actiony shots of Black Panther and other Avengers fighting, all of which led up to a quick look at Thanos as he reached out toward the screen. All of this is wrapped up with Justin Hammer, who claims that he's Santa Claus, baby. But what's even scarier than the idea of Hammer as Santa was the evil look on his face as he was wearing the Hulkbuster armor and just towering over Iron Man. Marvel's What If Season 2 premieres on December 22nd and is going to run for 9 days straight. What are you looking forward to the most from this season? Be sure to let me know in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any more of our Flixplained breakdowns.